Caching is a really great buzzword we hear all the time. We say we implement the cache and we because of the cache it's slow, because of the cache it gets obsolete. Caching, we use this word everywhere. But the problem is, are we doing this right? Are we using the right product? Are we doing the right practice? That is what we are going to discuss in this video. Before I go into the video, I must say thank you very much for your really nice engagement, all the likes and all the comments. It doesn't take more than 1 second you to click the like button. If you really like this video, please do it. That's a real encouragement to do more good content. In this video, we are going to focus mainly about server-side caching. And also I'm going to explain right practices and the difference between main products we have and what to use and when. Because most of the time I have seen developers trying to use these products interchangeably, but it is not. Those are designed for a different purpose. You can't use interchangeably. So let's dive into the video. So important thing is, what is caching? Caching is mainly you store a copy of data or a file, so content or whatever, in a temporary place where easily accessible. Let's say if you have a data on a database, you take some of data which is frequently accessed, you store in memory. So now since it's in memory, you get fast access. You can get different benefit of that. One is a performance important, and that is the most important thing. And also you can get the cost benefit. For example, if you are using a database which costs for the read and write, then when you use caching, since you are reading from the cache, it will be cheaper than you reading from the database. And also you can get the concurrent access, and there are many more benefits you can get by using cache. So now if you get cache implementation, here I'm going to focus about AWS caching products. In AWS they have Elastic Cache service. They are two different engines, but one is a Memcached and another one is a Redis cache engine. Before going to the difference between each product, when you use this AWS Elastic Cache, the main benefit you are getting is a managed service. You don't have to worry about reading and writing to different instances and replications and failovers. You don't have to worry about anything because AWS is handling it. And also it has two different engine support. One is a Memcached, another one is a Redis. Once we learn which one is for what, you can choose either one to use. Another thing is you do the automatic patch updates, and it's a fully managed service as I discussed before. Therefore you can get huge benefit by using Elastic Cache. But here the focus is not about the Elastic Cache. So if you prefer not to use the Elastic Cache, and if you prefer to have your own implementation, it's totally fine. I just use this slide because otherwise it's not complete without telling a managed product for a caching. And if you get the Memcached, this is very important to understand. Memcached is an open source and high performance cache engine. It has a very rich features, like it's very focused about the simplicity because it's easy to use, it's very high performance, and also it uses multi-threading because it can process the data, read the data through the multiple threads, so therefore it can get the performance benefit. But when we can use this, that's the most important question. You cannot replace Redis from Memcached because Memcached is for a different thing. It's for a different use cases. For example, Memcached always we can use when you have a key value pair caching. For example, if you want to cache cookies, if you want to cache sessions, if you want to cache something which has a key and value, right? So then Memcached is best. Why? Because you have a multi-thread support and it's a very high performance engine. In other competitor for the Memcached is a Redis. It's a two different paradigm, but other one is a Redis. Redis is something more than just a caching because it supports full data structure. It has a list, sets and hash and so many data structures. And also it can use as a message broker. You can use a Redis to like get the events. When something happen in the Redis, you can emit events. You can in one way, I mean it's not, you cannot replace the Kafka with the Redis, but in certain way you can use it as a message broker. So as I said, it has a multiple data structures which we are going to discuss in a minute. And other thing is it supports persistence. You can persist your data into a persistent storage. Also it supports advanced features like replication and a Lua script. Lua script is a really cool feature where you can store the script inside the Redis, and then you can call the script and Redis do that job within the server side. But keep in mind, if you are using Lua on AWS Elastic Cache Redis engine, if your Lua script take more than 5 seconds to execute, it triggers the failover. It take the read instance as a write instance and the read instance restart, because the maximum time, it's a hard limit, is a 5 seconds for a Lua script. What are the use cases for Lua script? Let's assume you are using a Redis for cache something, you have millions of objects, but you need to do some cleanup process or a garbage collection process. Based on the certain state of your object, you need to delete it. Now let's say you have millions of objects. Now if you're doing from the client side, you need to fetch one by one and see the condition. If the condition is true, you can remove it, but it takes a lot of time. Rather than that, you can plant a Lua script on the Redis side, Redis server side. Then you call the script. The Redis can inspect the object from the server itself and remove it. It's a very efficient. If you are doing this from client side, it may take 30 minutes. But if you are doing from your server side, it may take 30 seconds. But keep in mind again, Lua script in the AWS Redis engine is maximum support for 5 seconds. So Redis is not like a Memcache. You can use this for anything you want. For example, since it has a list and sets and everything, if you want to implement a custom queue, you can use the list. If you want to find the duplicate, you can use the sets. And if you want to use something like a leaderboard or something, you can use a hash. It's a full rich data structure. Whatever you want, you can get with the Redis. And also it has some atomic commands. We discussed this one of our previous video. So how you can use the atomic commands like for increment, decrement, and for distributed logs and everything. Please refer that video, but you can do that with the Redis. So these are the key differences between Memcache and Redis. Main difference is the data structure support, because Memcache only support for string key value pairs, but Redis support multiple data structures as we discussed. In regard to persistence, Memcache doesn't support persistence out of the box, but Redis can support RDB format backups and also append only file. AOF, otherwise append only file, you can use if you want to restore for a point in time. And if you get the Memcache, that is only focused on about the speed, but if you get the Redis, it offers the replication, transaction, and also Lua script. When you get the Memcache, it use LRU eviction policy, or else least recently used eviction policy. But Redis, it has a rich eviction rules. You can use a TTL based eviction and many more. When you go to scaling, Memcache usually support this scaling, you adding more and more nodes, but Redis support native clustering support along with the partitioning and sharding. When you get use cases and cost, Memcache usually we use for a caching session, caching database queries, or caching tokens type of things, and it cost is very low because compared to Redis, because it use more or less non-cluster environment. But when you get the Redis, its cost is higher than the Memcache, but it can use for real-time analytics because it has events, and you can use leaderboards and automatic counting, increment, decrement. We discussed this in one of previous video. And also you can cache multiple complex type structure object. When it comes to performance, in simply, Memcache is high performance, but you have to sacrifice the structures of the data. You use everything as a key value pair. But Redis, compared to Memcache, it's less performance, but you can use for a very high complex data structure. It depends on advantages versus trade-off. So what you want exactly, if you want to store just the key value pair data like a sessions or a token, don't go for Redis, you can use a Memcache. But if you want to store objects and with some complex algorithms to run, then you have to go for Redis. Now we know both products. Let's see some of the bad practices and the wrong practices we are doing when it comes to the caching. I have seen enough software engineers, they use the Redis in a Memcache manner. For example, let's say when you query database, you get 10,000 records. You process these records and you need to return 100 by 100 to front end for a pagination. So now what developers do is, they get the 10,000 record, they process it, and then JSON stringify this and store in the Redis. And then send the first 100 to the UI. And then when the UI asks for the second page, they go to the Redis, take the 10,000 back because it's a JSON stringify record, it's a string, and then pass to JSON and get the next 100 and send to the front end. When it comes to the third page, again go to the Redis, take those 10,000 and convert to JSON back because it's coming as a string, right? Because you use as a string value, JSON stringify, then take it back, take the third 100 and send it to the user. This is wrong, completely wrong. This has a multiple thing can goes wrong because usually cache servers has a network bandwidth issue. So when you take in 10,000 records every time you scroll through the UI, you are killing the network bandwidth. And also you have a huge read because 10,000 records mean megabytes of data. You are keep downloading this and you have to split this and like find what are the number of records you want. It takes time, it's adding latency, it's a user experience. This is completely wrong. What you should do is, if you are using the Redis, you have a data structures. You process this 10,000 record, you store in a list, then return from range 0 to 100. When the server says, when the front end says, hey, give me second page, you just tell Redis, send me from 101 to 200. You don't get everything. You just tell Redis, give me this chunk. That way, you're only getting what you want. So that is how you use the Redis in a Redis manner. Otherwise, you're using the Redis in a Memcached manner. You pay high, but you don't get the benefit. So that's what I said. If you're using caching, just watch this video. I hope this is helpful. And if you have any question, comment below. And if you want me to talk about something else, or if you want to demo something, and comment that also, I'll prepare a video. But if you're looking for something how to use the Redis in the right way for a pagination kind of thing, I have a video already created a few months ago. You can go through my videos list and find it. Then until we see you again, stay safe and take care.